trophy has a red and gold reflection.
These guys are hungry for more. They want to build a dynasty here.
Believe in each other. Fly around. Let's find a way to win.
And he's going to be hit. Chris Jones got him in a bear hug. Pacheco blasts into the end zone at the 10-5. Leaped to the end zone. Touchdown.
The Chiefs secured an 8th consecutive division title last week with a come-from-behind victory over the Bengals. And now with the number 3 seed in the playoffs all locked up, it's a relatively low-stress sort of day for Kansas City as some reserve players get a chance to show what they can do. We are 2 hours from kickoff. You've waited all week for this very moment. It's finally here. It is time for football in Chiefs Kingdom. Let's do this. My name is Matt McMullen, joined by voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. This is Field Pass presented by StorageMart. And Mitch, this game may not mean much for the Chiefs in the standings, but it's still meaningful in a bunch of ways.
No question. I call it, and when you listen to the radio, my open will be this is a rejuvenation or reveal game. We have seen historically, this is the 4th time in 11 years since Andy Reid has been head coach that we've had this scenario. But in every one of them, there's been a story, either a revealing story or a rejuvenation. And so think guys like McCole Hardman can have a rejuvenation day. Guys like Felix Anudike-Uzomah could have a revealing day. So there is a lot of meaning to this game. Don't sleep on it.
Yeah, it's just a great opportunity for guys to gain meaningful experience that normally don't play a whole lot. And at the middle of that is our starting quarterback today in Blaine Gabbert. It'll be his first start since week 17 of the 2018 season. So it's been a while. He's no stranger to starting, though. This will be the 49th start of his 13-year career. What are you expecting out of Blaine Gabbert here today?
I think he's going to grip it and rip it and let her go.
Okay.
First of all, he's a talented player. We saw glimpses of that in the preseason. People forget, he grew up in Baldwin, Missouri, so St. Louis kid, was great at Mizzou. A first-round draft pick, top 12 draft pick in the NFL draft by the Jaguars, so he has that kind of talent. But this has been a great week at work. One, the tension's been off. But there's just been this energy in the hallways. I don't know if you sensed it as well.
Definitely.
And that quarterback room has been energetic all week. They're ready to let Blaine Gabbert tear it up. I think he's got the ability to have a pretty big day. I'm excited to watch him play.
Yeah, me too. And I love his attitude about this because he talked about the opportunity earlier this week and called it kind of a dry run for him and the offense. And that's the best way to look at it because think about the moments that Chad Henne was in during his Chiefs career. Critical moments in the playoffs. The divisional round of the 2020 playoffs, Patrick Mahomes gets a concussion, throws Chad into the fire. He throws the football on 4th down to win that game for the Chiefs.
And he had to scramble prior to that to get him close, remember.
Yeah, 3rd and 15, made it 4th and inches. Think of the divisional round last year against the Jaguars. Chad led a 98-yard touchdown drive while Patrick was getting his ankle worked on. So you never want your backup quarterback to come into the game in the playoffs. But if we need Blaine in the playoffs, he might look at this game and say this is why he was ready.
Well, it's parallel because when Chad Henne got thrown or quarterback that last game of 2020 in this similar circumstance, he hadn't played a whole lot either prior to that. He was just like Blaine's career where he played a lot early and then was put aside. Then he jumps back in and gets all those reps. He said it both privately and publicly that getting all those reps helped him in the Cleveland game, and then that Cleveland game helped him to go 98 yards last year in the playoffs. So again, for Blaine Gabbert, who knows what this could mean, but I know he's excited, but he's talented enough to hit the deep third of the Charger defense, and that's a big difference. It's not your normal backup because he could win the javelin out here.
Now we're also going to see several young players here today that normally don't play a whole lot. They're going to get some extended time. And just some players that I'll be watching. Guys like Felix Anudike-Uzomah, the Chiefs' first-round pick out of K-State. Hasn't played a whole lot this season because we've been lucky with injuries. A lot of our defensive ends this year just haven't been hurt, and they've played really well, but Felix is likely going to play a lot here today. How about Echo Boydo? He's likely going to play a lot of corner in this game. Normally just plays on special teams. Nick Jones, a player I'm looking forward to watching, 7th-round pick out of Ball State. Neil Farrell is a guy I'm looking forward to watching as well. Don't forget about Neil Farrell. The Chiefs acquired him prior to the season from Las Vegas, but he was a highly touted prospect out of LSU, a defensive tackle, just a couple years ago. And Justin Ross, we all know about Justin Ross. He's going to play a lot here in this game. Who are some players you're looking forward to watching?
Cam Jones is another guy that I'm going to put on that list because Cam was so impressive in the spring and summer.
Yeah.
Remember, he was an undrafted player out of Indiana, but he was wearing the green dot. He was like, he's so smart in the defense. and he's been decent on special teams. But now, all of a sudden, he and Jack Cochran become the centerpieces of a linebacking core that will still play Leo Chenal, still play Drew Tranquil some, and they have to play. You got to have enough guys to play this game. But Cam Jones, including the list that you all gave, that I'm excited to see all those guys getting their chance. Those are all reveal guys. We really haven't seen, but they can reveal their game to the Chiefs Kingdom in this one.
Yeah, just a tremendous opportunity. You can't replicate live game reps in practice. You just can't do it. And while this game doesn't really matter for the Chiefs in the end, it's still a real game against a real opponent. So that is invaluable. It's also important for the guys that aren't going to play a whole lot today, though, like our starters. Guys like Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, not going to play here in this one. They get a relative break. And even for the guys that normally start and will play, guys like Drew Tranquil, still a significantly lower stress day for them.
It goes back to that when we talked about it on the podcast. To beat the Bengals had a depth of importance. The obvious one is winning the division in the 8th straight and the 16-15 stuff. But the second one we just mentioned, the fact that the third one is one that's maybe not as prevalent, or you think about what the Chiefs had for 5 straight weeks, facing opponents that had 9 to 14 days rest. Well, it's just the converse now. We're sitting there watching these games, and everybody's trying to claw their eyes out to get to next week. All of them, including that game tonight, Miami-Buffalo, which has, probably the biggest regular season game of the year to this point. But the Chiefs can sit back and watch that. It's just the opposite of what the Chiefs have had to face throughout the month of December and really since Thanksgiving. So it's a blessing here for those guys to just back up and get refreshed from a mental and emotional standpoint as well as physical.
And for some of these guys, it goes all the way back to 2018. Think of all the football the Chiefs have played over the last 6 seasons. They've played 112 total games since 2018, easily the most of any team in the NFL during that span. That includes 14 playoff games. It's almost like a full season packed in to the last 6 years. And I get it, most of the players on the Chiefs were not here for that entire run, but specifically for Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, any kind of break's a big deal.
And I'm really excited. Mahomes is excited this week, too. He'll be the biggest coach Blaine Gabbert has. He loves to be involved in this. He was even getting some scout team reps this week. So for him, it's a mental and emotional backup. Now the Ravens will get it next week. The 1 seed, we all know. We've been there before. They'll get it next week. It's huge in the realm of the playoffs. But if you're not going to get the 1 seed, what you want is this. And it's rare to get this. Cleveland's getting it as well. And that is a Week 18, you dictate the terms and let your main guys just back up and catch a breath. And that's, to me, it's huge, especially for this 2023 Chiefs team.
Well, speaking of all of that, let's talk playoff scenarios, right? That's what today is all about. Now, coming into this weekend, there were 5 potential teams that the Chiefs could play in the wild card round. Well, after yesterday, that list is now down to 3. It's the Dolphins, Texans, and Steelers are all potential teams the Chiefs could play next week. Now, technically speaking, if the Dolphins and Bills tie tonight, we'd play the Bills next weekend. But assuming no ties occur, it's Dolphins, Texans, and Steelers. Now, it could end up being very simple. If the Bills beat the Dolphins tonight, no matter what else happens, it'll be Dolphins in Kansas City next weekend. But if the Dolphins beat the Bills, it could get interesting.
Oh, boy. And so all eyes are on this Jacksonville-Tennessee game. And honestly, I think the Vegas Broncos game has some tiebreaker implications. But if Tennessee wins this game and they're beating Jacksonville right now, it gets really interesting because that was really not something we were looking at as much of a probability. But if it happens, wow, just think of what could be.
Certainly. And if you look at the path here, so if the Dolphins win tonight over the Bills and the Jags win today, like you said, they're losing right now, it would be the Texans in Kansas City next week. But if the Titans win, not the Jags, the Titans win today and the Dolphins win, it'll be the Steelers in Kansas City next week, and the Bills would be the 7 seed. So still a lot up in the air for Kansas City. But
and have a rematch in the division or in the wild card round going right back to Miami.
Of the game they just had.
Yeah, and they're in the same side of the bracket potentially if Buffalo would win as Baltimore. That could be, think about Baltimore getting a divisional playoff game against
the Buffalo Bills. It could be tough. We will see. This is why today is so fun, and particularly for us, because there's really nothing at stake for the Chiefs. We're just seeing who we're going to play, but our position cannot be impacted at all. And again, to your point, here's the beauty of today for Kansas City and this whole weekend. All of these teams are going 100 miles per hour. They have to win today. They're playing for their playoff lives while we have a relative break. That's an advantage going into the wild card round.
Again, but it's what we've faced for 5 consecutive weeks. We've been going 100 miles an hour while other teams are just sitting there waiting on us to get there. And so to get this opportunity, we think about it on the offensive side, but even on the defensive side, where you get a chance for L'Jarius Sneed, who will be inactive because of an injury, but him, Trent McDuffie, when you look at Nick Bolton, and the outside guys, Karlaftis and Dana, to just back up and step back, I'm telling you, Matt, it could mean all the difference in the world.
Well, one of the reasons we're in the position that we are today is the performance of Isaiah Pacheco last week. What a game for him. And for more on Pop, we had a chance to catch up with him earlier this week on our podcast.
Boy, are we blessed on this edition of Defending the Kingdom called What This Means to bring in the one we call Pop, Isaiah Pacheco, coming off a career game in the victory over the Bengals. I want to ask you this because it seemed like the offensive line and you said we're going to light the fuse to this game. How much of that was the mindset of the week going into the Cincinnati game?
It was big, very big this week. That was a mindset. First thing of the week when Coach Reed came in on that Tuesday, we had the team meeting. Biggs is going to take you guys this game to start it off. And for us as the skill guys, you got to follow the momentum of the game and understand that it starts with them up front.
Let's look at your numbers here from the game. You had 130 rushing yards. That was a career high. 9 of your 18 carries gained at least 5 yards. It's pretty good. You had 102 yards after first contact, and, of course, you also had the receiving touchdown. The interesting thing is you didn't practice until Friday because you were getting through the concussion protocol. What was the week like preparing for that game, and how satisfying was it to have the best game of your career?
It was difficult, I would say, because doing the protocol testing and you could get very distracted and feel a little bit separated from the team because you can't do as much as you were usually doing during the week. So it was kind of tough, but Julie and the training staff, they had a plan, and we stuck to it. And just finding that opportunity to get out there on the field, the extra work that I put in besides going out there at practice to get where I wanted to be, it worked. And just trusting the scheme and going home and being prepared allowed me to come out and play fast.
Our training staff's awesome, and your shoulder, the way you fought back from that. I want to ask you something. This goes back to something you and I talked about all the way back in the spring, and that is the next step of your career of you becoming a threat in the passing game as a receiver. And we saw the angle route for the touchdown. How much of that is coming together for you?
It's big for me. It's something that I always take very seriously on the offseason as well. As much as I didn't get those reps in with Pat, which I wanted to because I had surgery on my shoulder, I missed out on those few reps in the offseason. But during those OTAs, when I was able to just slide in there with Coach Reed, not looking or anybody looking, just get those extra reps, it was something I would do. And just practicing in the dark, it kind of came to light, just trusting in the scheme and just being thankful for my teammates having faith in me to do it with them.
So I have a very serious question. Can you speak to the power of the swag surf? Because they play swag surf, and then the defense gets 4 sacks on 5 plays.
Hey.
Explain the power of the swag surf.
Hey, they had me on the bench going. I had the crowd going. I'm like, wow, this really feels real. So if Chiefs Kingdom, we want to start doing the swag surf, that's something we may bring that on to something that I may be new to, and I'm pretty sure they're new to it here, right?
It's effective. It works. Yeah.
It's catching on. Last night on the Chiefs Kingdom show, first of all, they're asking you to be on the show. I have for 2 years. But they were talking about that because the fans want to hey, we're all in. Let's do it.
Oh, let's go. I can't wait, man. Playoff game? We got a playoff game home?
Oh, yeah. Sure do.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Turn it up.
Well, here's the thing. So Willie, there's cameras on Willie, and Willie was asking for it. He's like, we need it. We need it. We need the swag surf. And then the defense went out and had 4 sacks in 5 plays. So clearly it works.
Yeah.
What did you see? 2 30-plus runs here. And Kels gave you an awesome block. I didn't realize it till I went back and watched the video.
Yes.
Kels. And Coach said it might have been his best block in his career. But when you saw it pop open, you're like, okay, What were you thinking?
I was thinking this is what we practiced on that Friday, the day that I was able to get that rep, and just kind of trusted the scheme. And when you trust the scheme, and you know that the blockers that are in front of you are determined to get the job done, it all plays out as a unit, and that's what it did. We brought it together and made a great play there.
Mitch asked you about this a little bit already, but you look back at your rookie season, you were so good as a rookie. You're the leading rusher in the Super Bowl. And then coming into this season, you're the guy. And, I mean, you've had an awesome year. I mean, over nearly 1,200 yards from scrimmage, 9 touchdowns. Like, what a season for you. I know you're always unsatisfied, though. I mean, where do you see yourself going looking ahead to the playoffs then and the seasons to come?
You know, that's it's kind of tough when you been in the situations I've been in, understanding that it's been adversity. I missed 2 games due to surgery, and it's something that, you know, could be overlooked. And for me, it's just taking it day by day and knowing that my health is important, and just trusting the coaches and they're doing a great job with me, and me being a player and believing in this program. We're doing great things, and coming out on top is the goal.
So this defending the kingdom theme is, what's this mean? This means it's pop time. Isaiah Pacheco.
All right, great stuff there from Isaiah Pacheco. He just walked behind us, and there are a lot of Chiefs fans here, and they're going crazy for him. Just love what Isaiah is becoming, how he's endearing himself here to the kingdom, don't you think?
He is so popular. He actually, on the Chiefs Kingdom show, has not been on it yet. He's the most requested guy. Like, there's Mahomes and Kelsey, and then but they want Pacheco. So, yeah, he's amazing. The energy, you could see it in the interview. He brings that to work every day. There's a lot more to him than just getting yards and touchdowns.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we just got the inactives list. It's funny, we were joking about this. If this was not a meaningless game, this would be a very alarming inactives list. But we know these guys aren't going to play, and obviously, for the most part, it's for rest. So the players not going to play here today are Rashee Rice, Donovan Smith, L'Jarius Sneed, Kadarius Toney, Patrick Mahomes, Mike Dana, and Travis Kelce. So those are your inactives here today. Travis Kelce, that was kind of an kind of late coaching decision. Just not going to play here today. It's not injury related. Mike Dana was questionable coming in. Coaching decision, once again, not going to play. And then Patrick Mahomes was technically doubtful yesterday and was listed as out here this morning. But that means that guys like Isaiah Pacheco, Trent McDuffie, Nick Bolton, George Karlaftis, Chris Jones, Justin Reed, a lot of normal starters. We don't know how much they're going to play, if at all, but they're technically active here in this one.
Let me throw in there Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, and Joe Tooney as well. I mean, you're looking at 10 guys there. Some of them will have to play. You don't have enough guys. I just saw with our fans over here, there's one sign that goes, I just drove 1,600 miles to see 16 yards. Not going to see it. Kelsey ain't playing, so hopefully that drive was a good one. But still, the other thing to think about here when we're talking about numbers is the Chiefs will play this game with about 39 guys. That's it. All the guys we mentioned that are getting the chance to either rejuvenate or reveal have to play special teams as well. Cam Jones, Cochran, all those guys. Meaning it'll be almost like high school for them. They're going to be out there way more than they've ever been before, but I'm sure they're looking forward to it. But it's a dynamic for fans to realize and understand. Just, say a prayer to everybody stay healthy, because guys that we're going to need next week still have to play this game, and otherwise you don't have enough guys. You still have the roster restrictions for this game.
Now, looking at the Chargers, they're banged up right now. Keenan Allen not going to play in this game with a heel injury. Zion Johnson, their starting offensive guard, one of their starting offensive guards, he was doubtful coming in. He's not going to play with a neck injury. Linebacker Kenneth Murray, first-round pick a few years ago, has a shoulder injury. He's not going to play due to that injury. So they're banged up right now overall. I'm curious to see what the attitude is like on the Chargers side. They're not playing for anything here today, but they're also going to have a lot of young players trying to show what they can do.
And think about the guys already on IR, Mike Williams and obviously Justin Herbert. But Austin Eckler comes to mind. There's rumors this will be his last game. 7 years here. What's going through his mind as he's playing this game? So we always think about that in terms of the Chiefs, but what about the Chargers? But they've got some other guys, too, that are younger guys that they're in the whole reveal stage as well. And then there's Easton Stick, the quarterback. Kid from Omaha. played at Creighton Prep High School. He was the MVP Shrine Bowl, Nebraska Shrine Bowl MVP, and he gets his 5th start today, and that'll be interesting.
We've had so many great games against the Chargers in recent memory. We're missing a lot of the usual suspects on both sides here for obvious reasons. But again, what a great opportunity for our young players to show what they can do. And I know the game doesn't mean anything, but 11 wins sounds a lot better than 10. So let's go out there and get a win here over the Chargers and carry some momentum into the playoffs. For Mitch Holthus, I'm Matt McMullen. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Let's go get a victory!